I want to talk about this thing that's going to happen in the future is regarding Moon and Mars. I'm going to start off first with Moon one. We already saw America competing with Russia, fulfilling the prophecy of what? Of Moon. America has already done its prophecy of Moon. So they won't be able to achieve the Mars one, whether they like it or not. And the other thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the first nation that will be the first one to put a human being on Mars. It's going to happen after World War V between China and Germany. It will be China, Japan, that will be the first one. They will actually be competing with Brazil, South America for Mars. That's what's going to happen. That's the first nation that will put a human being on Mars. It's going to be China competing with Brazil. That's what you'll see happening. And the other thing, we saw China doing something that flew about more than 15,000 kilometers. At least they tried, even if Americans shot it. But we are going to see more worse things that are going to happen inside America, whereby things are going to be exploding in the future, where America will go nuts to intercept things. They think that they do have missile defense. Remember, I mentioned about a small nation, but I won't talk much about that one. That's where things will escalate because you'll see nations not being afraid of United States. Well, people, let me not talk much about that thing of prophecy because I myself am a messenger, not a prophet. So I don't like calling myself a prophet because there are so many people who call themselves prophets whenever they are not. As we see, if you go to prophecies of 2023, you find that most of the people who are there in the session, prophecies of 2023, they are prophesying lies, a lot of them. So people mustn't listen to those prophets. So people, you need to be careful what you are listening to. At times you may be listening to these false prophets who are not sent, who are not ordained, who are not me. I didn't say I'm ordained. I'm not a pastor. I'm not whatever. Because you'll hear me talking also about God and also about the devil. I don't like the devil. And I will also talk about God in the future. He is our God, but how he made certain mistakes during creation, which are not written in the Bible. And I'm going to talk a lot about future world powers that are going to come. Already I've mentioned, I've talked about Germany, I've talked about after China, I've talked about what Brazil ruling after. That these empires will be fighting World War One after another. Nuclear wars. I've also talked about what Africa, that Africa will have 4 superpowers, which are Yoruba, who will be overtaken by Zulu. And also, I already talked about what Ethiopia, building a tall building, 2,000 meters. And also, I talked about this empire called, what do you call it? Tswana, that will overtake what? It will overtake Ethiopia. We're gonna see many things done in science. So people will be flying using science, building taller building, and then we're gonna see Greenland. I'm not gonna talk a lot about that empire, Greenland. And then we're gonna see Russia coming again, fighting another war that will destroy the world. And then after we're gonna see India overtaking Russia, and then we're gonna see Turkey overtaking India, and that's where the world will be recreated, made new, and then they will. I'm not talking about new world, whatever, and then we'll see another race, and then after we'll see Arabs, and then after we'll see Syria fighting Arabs, a nuclear war that will last 100 years, whereby Syria will build a taller building, 12,000. 8 to 10,000 meters, 8 to 10,000 meters high. And then we're going to see another one, Spain, which will be Tashishi, whereby there will be a large empire more than the size of Europe by far. And yes, you know, the world will be recreated. That's the empire that will restore Israel. And then I don't know about any other thing I don't want to talk a lot of things. Because the other thing I want to talk about, I wanted to talk about God's wife and about the other gods that were destroyed by God who created earth and heaven. God was not the only God who created, who was in heaven. There were millions and millions of gods that he destroyed. That is what God did, which was not right. That was a mistake. And also he had a wife. Why is it that we are not being taught about that God had a wife in Genesis? When the world was created there, he made everything and he made all things. That verse that says he made everything, it must tell us about how God made the world with his wife. You find people putting Jesus. Is Jesus there? Or is a German person? I don't know. Maybe there could be many Jesuses. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. A lot of things to do with Jesus, because I don't want people to say that this and this about me. So people, that's all I have to say. Let me just cut things and leave it like that. I will make the video only about whatever minutes. I'm not going to talk. I don't like saying how many minutes will my video be. But I'm not going to put this on Facebook. I'll put it in on the other thing. See you. Bye-bye.